What's up, guys? Today I'm going to do this quick video here on key statistics to help you guys being able to pick the stocks that you want to, trade throughout the day. So a lot of times, a lot of traders are always asking me, well, out of alerts and things like that that you get, what makes you choose the stocks that you choose? Well, one of the main things that I look for is certain key statistics. Okay, and so within those companies that we're told to look at through the alerts, I'm always picking and choosing which ones that I want to trade based on a few factors. Key statistics is one of them. Okay, in addition to charts and stuff like that, key statistics is kind of one of the main things that help me decide that ultimate decision. So I'm going to do this quick video here for you guys to look at. I'm just going to recap key statistics that I look for in day trading. We'll get into some more advanced stuff in the advanced courses, but right now, these are something that you need to learn when it comes to day trading to help you out with being able to decide which stocks you want to trade and what you can expect when you know the key statistics that you're looking at. All right, so let's check it out. All right, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these key statistics. What I'm going to cover here basically is just a little bit about key statistics and how it's going to be important for you guys as day traders, and just kind of break down some of the things that I look at and look for when it comes to trading. So hopefully this might help you out and just kind of, explain the differences between this and that so that it's a little bit more clear for you guys. Obviously, I go a lot more of this stuff in detail during like the advanced course and stuff like that that I'm putting together for you guys. But for now, this is important for you to know just, kind of starting out as traders. Okay. So pretty much what we're going to cover is key statistics. So let's take a look here. What are key statistics? All right. So key statistics are important data points that is used to evaluate different quantifiable facts about a company. All right. The statistics help traders and investors be able to make well-informed decisions throughout the marketplace on a daily basis. All right. Now you got to be asking, okay, these key statistics, they sound important. Okay, great. Where do I find them? Well, you can generally find them pretty much, anywhere when you're looking up a stock. And I'm actually walk through here in a moment how to find them for you guys. But you can pretty much find them almost anywhere, whether you're looking at, you know, from your broker when you pull up the actual stock name, or if you go to sites like FinViz or Yahoo or Market Watch and things like that, they'll always have information about key statistics of the company. And we'll talk about the ones that I look for here in a second. That's important to me as a day trader. And then I'll walk you guys through on how to pull it up and where they're at. And actually, we can just kind of get into one of them right now. Let's do this here. All right. So for example, let's say if we go to, let me load this up here for you guys so you can see it. Let's say if we go to yahoo.com, right? Let's just say we go to like Yahoo Finance and we want to look at a stock. Let's say if we wanted to look at, I'm gonna just use, generically whatever might pop up on there, or just maybe like Apple or something like that that you guys already know. So just kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So let's go to Yahoo Finance. Now let's say you're interested in a ticker. Let's just say we're looking at TCN. I'm just picking that as the first thing that's up there. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. I am. It's the middle of the trading day and I'm still, looking at opportunities to trade. But let's say we click on TCN, right? These right here are key statistics. Market cap, beta monthly. These are just certain things that traders and investors will look at about the company that helps them determine, what they want to do if they're interested in it and everything like that. You see the average volume, the regular volume, ex dividend date. These are different, data points that investors and traders want to know. Okay. So that's just one example there. Close that out. All right. So that's where you find them. But again, you can find them on like, your broker site as well too. When you type in stocks, they'll, the stock name, it'll pull it up. You guys, you should know what I'm talking about. All right. Now, important day trading statistics, and this is some of what I look at just a little bit, you know, I mean, for the most part, and I'll break down what these are. You know, shares outstanding is one, free float and the public float is also the same thing, which is the total number of shares that are trading. Market cap, free float market cap, volume, average volume, and previous close and previous open. those are just important statistics for me as a trader, that I look for when I'm looking at a stock. So whenever you guys see like, alerts coming through and things like that, once I see the alert and I pull the trigger, these are what I'm looking at. And I'll, for you guys that are staying after, I'll walk you through the process on how I'm doing that. But that's typically what I'm looking at. Now, shares outstanding, let's kind of break this down so you guys understand the differences between them. Shares outstanding is, the total number of outstanding shares that are throughout the company, okay? Just number of shares. Public float or free float is a total number of shares that are available for the trading, okay? Because some of the outstanding shares you cannot trade. They're like Class A shares or different types of shares that aren't available to be traded to the public market, okay? Then there's market cap. Now, market cap, pertains to the valuation of the company, okay? Um, as far as the dollar amount. And then the free flow market cap is the public value of the actual stock, okay? That's traded among the company or traded among the public, all right? So that's kind of the difference between the two. They're kind of similar but kind of different. And I'll kind of go into a little bit more detail there. But I'm mainly looking at those, just kind of, getting the glance of the company's perspective and what's going on with it right now. And I'm looking at volume. Of course, volume is the number of shares traded throughout the day. And mostly I'm looking at like the current value. Then there's also the average volume as far as like on average how much shares is traded throughout the day. And then there's the previous close and previous open. I want to know what it closed at the end of the day. I want to know what it opened at because I want to see how that's, relative to the, previous day because it's going to, act as another level of support and resistance. Psychologically, that's how it is for a lot of traders, day traders anyway. Okay. So of those, like I said, market cap and free flow market cap would be similar to outstanding shares and free float or public float. The difference between these two guys, just kind of to make it easier for you, think of the market cap and the free float market cap pertaining to the dollar value of the company. Shares outstanding and free float deals with the number of shares. Okay, so the reason why I care more about honestly the outstanding shares and the free float, mainly the free float is what I'm looking at. That's most important to me. Okay, market cap and free flow market cap doesn't really mean too much to me because I don't care about the values of companies when I'm day trading. I don't care if you're Apple or I don't care if you're, you know, the lowest trading company. I don't care if you're TCN. It doesn't matter. I don't care about the value of the company. If I'm day trading, I just want to, get in, get profits, get out. So I'm more worried about the shares outstanding in the free float because that's going to, along with the volume, because that's going to make a difference as far as how the stock is moving throughout the day. Okay. I like low float stocks because they move much more quicker, but that's how I trade. Okay. Um, and I know like when I'm looking at free flow stocks, if the stock has a small free float, if it has a small float, then it can change quickly. So I'm not going to look so much for too many trends. If it has a large cap, then if it has a large float, then I'm going to be looking at, possibly looking at trends because it takes a little bit more for that stock to move price wise. Okay. But market cap and free flow market cap just deals with the dollar value of the company. So I'm not really worried about that too much. But it's still something good to keep in mind if the company seems to be valuable. So here's an example. And I got this example actually because one of the members in the chat, Greg had asked about it, and actually a few you other guys asked about it. I believe it was Tammy who asked, and Ryan asked me as well too. We were kind of just discussing a little bit, and um, just kind of breaking it down for them. So I figured I'd just make this quick video, like I said, to kind of go over with a lot of you guys. But let's use CYTO for example. So here, when I'm pulling up the stock after the alert goes off, I pull up the stock, look at it. First thing I'm glancing at here, free float. I want to know how many shares are available for not only myself but for the rest of the public to trade. I like to see my float be below 40 million if possible. Um, that's good to me. Um, and then I'm looking at the shares outstanding. So you can see here there's 15 million shares outstanding, but there's 13 million, a little over 13 million, almost 14 million available for the public to trade. So this lets me know there's not a lot of there's only like 1.5 million or 1.2 million of shares or so. I'm not doing the math, I'm just kind of giving you an idea. There's not that many millions. It's not millions of shares out there that's on reserve for like insiders and stuff like that to hold. So that's important to me. knowing that if this thing has a lot of volume, which you want to look here to see if there's a lot of volume relative to the amount of stocks that's there, it's letting me know if there's going to be a lot of movement in the stock. Okay, and if there's not a lot of volume happening relative to the amount of shares, it's going to take, it's not going to be probably much of a difference there. Okay, the free float market cap and the regular market cap just kind of shows you the valuation of the company. Because remember, to calculate the market cap is to calculate the value of the company. So you're taking the price of whatever the stock is at the time, multiply it by the market cap. That's how much the value of the company is. I don't care about the value. I want to care about number of shares and how much is being traded. So I'm looking at volume and I'm looking at float. Let's look at this one here. I believe, was this the same one? This was a different stock. I forgot which stock it is. But anyways, the name doesn't matter. You know why? Because you don't care about the company. But let's take a look at here. Shares outstanding, 12.71 million. Free float, 11.94. So same as CYTO. I know there's, of the shares that are available throughout the whole entire company, there's about 11 million that can be traded amongst the public, which is good. Okay. Now market cap and free float market cap, again, I don't really care about it, but that just lets you know if you multiply the price of what it is times the market cap is what the company's value is. All right. So some people kind of get confused too, like they're wondering how can, free float be more than that? Remember market cap changes. The only time float and shares outstanding change is if shares get diluted or if they announce, a stock split. Okay. But the market cap can fluctuate. These numbers can change tomorrow, the day after, it doesn't matter because the value of the company changes. Okay. But the shares outstanding only change when they're announcing that, they're going to be issuing more shares or there's a split. Okay. And I think this was like Twitter or something like that I pulled up here. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of messages and the chat room is still going off. But I think this was like Twitter. So yeah, it applies the same thing for large cap stocks. Okay. So look at here, shares outstanding, 764 million, free float, 667 million. So that difference there, probably owned by Elon Musk. No, I'm just kidding. But the difference there as far as the shares outstanding versus the free float available to trade for the public is like, a million or so. And sometimes you'll get confused, like how can, this be more than that versus these are two different things. The market cap valuations versus, compared to the outstanding shares are two different things. So try not to get those confused. All right. Um, Again, what's important to me as a trader, shares outstanding, free float, and the amount of volume that's being traded versus the average volume. Okay, so I'm looking at these. I don't know why this thing is jumping everywhere, but I'm looking at this, this, and this. I'm looking at this first compared to this, and I want to see how much volume is happening versus the average volume. Okay, I want to see more of this over this because I know that stock is active. And I'm going to show you guys a live example here in a second. All right. But yeah, those are the important things as a trader, okay, that I look for. All right. Now, a few things to keep in mind, guys. The larger the gap between the outstanding shares versus the public float means that the higher of employee ownership there is, okay? That means more insiders own it and things like that. Uh, does this mean higher growth potential because the employees are dedicated to increasing the stock price? Or does it mean that the decision power is placed in the hands of fewer, investors within the company? It could be one or the other, or it could be neither. So it's just something to consider and something that I keep in mind when I'm looking at the stock and, wanting to trade it. Personally, I'd rather have less insiders in the stock that I'm trading. So I don't want to see much of a gap difference between the shares outstanding and the free float. Because I know at that point I'm going against the public versus, you know, insiders who may have a leg up on something that I don't know. Okay. Um, but that's just me. Again, you can rationalize it the other way as well too if you want. Some people might think, or does this, is the investors, having all the decision power being like one hands kind of thing. So, um, yeah, it's important, to try not to generalize the data points based on, one thing or another. Okay. While like for example, like while the number of outstanding shares compared to like floating shares doesn't really reveal anything about specific growth potential of the company, that doesn't mean anything. There's just kind of that to keep in mind. Sometimes you can have that biased opinion about it. Okay. Um, there are a few things to kind of keep in mind when you're reviewing the numbers, and some of those things would be like if the public float is below the shares outstanding, it just means that there's a high proportion of company owned employees. The company is owned by the employees at that point. Okay. If the public float, though, if it's well below the shares outstanding value, it means that the stock has potential to be volatile. And again, that's what I like. I like volatility because I'm better at understanding the psychological aspect of trading, I think, um, in my opinion. But yeah, if the number of floating shares is like very close to the number of shares outstanding, that means there's very little ownership again, and that's what I look for. All right. So that's just something to keep in mind. So just kind of recap, like I said, I wanted this to be a quick video. We just talked about the key statistics, what they are, what they do, the ones that are important when trading, what to look out for when you're reviewing them. And I just want you guys to remember too, with trading, just kind of give you guys a little refresher. Remember, trading isn't about nailing something, getting it right, and getting it wrong. It's about weighing, it's really about just managing your risk and putting the odds in your favor when you're doing the trades, whether you want it to go up or whether you want it to go down. You just want to have the odds in your favor. So statistics like that help me, keep the odds in my favor. Helps me, define my entry points, but at the same time, I'm also measuring my risk for it in the case of the probability that I am wrong. Okay, um, that's really just what you want to focus on. So that's pretty much it for there. What I wanted to do here, let me actually pull this up for you guys so we can look at it real quick here, where we're at today. Let me just kind of give you an example. I was just going to say this for you guys that are, in the group chat, but I think I'll just go into it right now. Um, let's just take a look at EVFM. Let me pull that. Let me pull those stats up here. That one's running today a little bit, or is it starting to pull back? Here's a chart. I was already looking at it. I think I honestly might just be done for today, but I don't know. We'll see. Um, so obviously that's level 2, but look at the key stats here. Okay, there's 12 million shares outstanding total in that company, but there's 11.4 million free float. That lets me know that this price action here is sentiment mostly of the public. Okay, look at the average volume traded here today. All right, that's usually what the average is, and this is the volume for today. So it's done almost 4 or 5 times as much as the volume that it normally does, which is good. I mean, and that's probably why it's like up so high. You can see this. That just basically means that bulls are in control of this stock and the price action, even though the market's crappy right now. And you can tell it's bullish because guess what? It's above the volume weighted average price. Okay, so that just lets you know it's in bullish territory, even though it's starting to trend down a little bit. Bulls are in control of this stock. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, as far as the valuation though, like the market cap, 13.98 million market cap and 13.14 million of that is public. I don't really care. Um, that's fine. That's just what the company is worth. But it's good to know that hey, it's a value. It's not that much of a valuable company, but it's trading very well. So I look at those statistics. Let's say see how ENSC was alerted. Let me use that one as a actual example. So boom, we get alerted ENSC. There's 34 million shares outstanding. That's great. Only 18 in the free float. That's good. Look at the volume. Average volume is 1.3 million. It's traded 18 times as much as it should today. Do I care about the market cap? It's only a couple $1 million company. Don't really care. But then look at that chart too. Look at that. I don't know when this was first loaded. Like I said, I'm just zoning in and out today. I had to make this video. I got other videos to make for you guys, finish up the advanced trading course. But just want to kind of show you an example. So when you see something like that, hey, this thing is, on the move, might be worth something to get into. Find an entry point. And this, Goes the same for any stock that you're looking at. There's no news running, so I might be a little bit worried there of why it's running off of just pure volume, searching, searching, and searching. But you know, that's just what I want you guys to know. Shares outstanding, I want to see that be, you know, low as I can. I typically don't like to go and trade things that are over 100, maybe 150 million, unless it had a lot of volume. And even then, I like to see the free float be like 40 to 50 million or less. And of course, that's going to be relative to how much shares you want to trade. Okay, because if you're going in with, you know, if there's, a free float of only like 10 million or 8 million, and you going in there with a 10,000 share position, that's going to influence the psychology behind people who are looking at level two and seeing that order being placed. So it's things like that you want to consider when you're considering, choosing which stocks, and this helps me decide which stocks I want to choose. Like for example, if I probably wouldn't trade something like DRMA because it was below $1. That doesn't fit me as a trader. But let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at Redbox. And again, those aren't the only determinations. There might be instances where it's an exception to the rule. The stock could be running, it could be hot, it could be all over social media, and just because it's a big market cap stock, it's a big a lot of outstanding shares, doesn't mean you don't have to trade it. It just means I'm going to probably approach it differently. I might look at it and say, okay, I need to approach this with a trend trading strategy. Okay, um, but look at this Redbox, free float 1.9 million. That's why this thing can run a lot. And look where it's at now. It's done, you know, 21 million. On average, it does 21 million. So yeah, low float, good average, volume, and the shares outstanding. It's only 12. So it's done twice the outstanding shares, which is good. I mean, it's not much of a spread there. Oh, sorry, red box. Ugh. There we go. Keep forgetting they're not connected. I was like, wait, that chart looks a little light. But there we go. Yeah. So here we are. And so something like this, 21 million might be enough to kind of look at a trend. Usually when it's like 10 and below, I'm like, I can, this is going to be volatile. But, Redbox has been consistent, especially with it being on, Wall Street bets and whatnot and being pumped. But yeah, so that's just kind of an example, guys. I mean, I hope this helps you out with understanding the difference between the key statistics. Like I said, I'm focusing on shares outstanding and free float. Market cap and free float market cap is okay to consider. And I'm trying to decide if the company is valuable or not, but I don't really care about that when I'm day trading. And I'm mainly looking at average volume relative to the current volume to see if the stock is in play and have a lot of movement. REVB, let's look at that bad boy. And just because it's a lot of volume, I don't want you to get this confused. Just because it's a lot of volume, um, and low market cap doesn't mean the stock is just going to shoot up and be a short squeeze. It can also do the opposite. Look at REVB. 85 million shares traded today. Okay. The average volume is only 500,000. This thing is traded a lot, but this shows you here that bears are in control of this. So yeah, it's traded a lot of volume. It's a low float stock, but wait, it's not going up. Well, that's because the sentiment towards it is bearish, and this thing has a lot of shares and a lot of bears bringing that thing down. So yeah, I mean, I got in. I think this one, and I got in and got out when I seen it begin to like pull back because the level two started lighting up and it wasn't trying to break anything. So there was no point in staying in it or trying to re-enter it. And then that just kind of gave me like a good confirmation there not to even touch this thing and wait for it to go above the volume weighted average price. So that's just an example, guys. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message, hit me up in the group chat or something like that. But I got to get back to trading and doing some other stuff. Hopefully, you guys are having a green day. The weekend is coming up, and 4th of July weekend. So we're gonna have a short trading week next week, but we'll get back at it again. All right, stay green.